You're listening to I Communicate with your host, Mark Altman, on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Once again, here's Mark.
You know, Dave, I have another weather crack to start our third segment. I just want to tell you, I went to college in California. I used to live out in California. When it rains in California, people treat it like snow. So the way people react when it snows here is the way when it rains. It gets bizarre. Like people freak out. It's going to rain. Oh my God.
I take great pride in the fact that I cut my teeth driving in the Massachusetts, Boston area. For goodness sake,
that speaks volumes.
I think it's hilarious down south when someone's, oh my gosh, we got a dusting. We got to cancel schools for a week and a half and break out the plow system.
It's true. So Dave, look, I don't know if you know this, but literally 98% of businesses fail in entrepreneurship. And what's really crazy is, you were working for this company for 24, 23-ish years, and you were given the opportunity to buy this company, take over this company, manage people, manage lots of people, and really take on experiences that you really have not had before to the extent you have them now.
Correct.
What was going through your mind when this first opportunity that said, I can do this, I can't do this, what was going on?
Well, I would say a variety of things went through my mind. Fear, hopeful bliss.
Fear of what?
Well, fear of failure, as well as fear of taking the reins of an established company and somehow letting it down and letting all the relationships that come with it, the people that work for us, the customers that we have, the vendors that we work with. There's a lot there that I was both excited to expand upon, as well as how you can't just go forward without the fear of some of the challenges that could come with those. Fortunately, I was blessed with the foundation of the company and the relationship that I've had with the gentleman that started the company. I've known him for years and years, just a terrific man, and we've cared for each other a great deal. I was able to carry the burden of sales and activity for the company for him for a long time. So when he came to me and said, okay, let's talk about me segueing out, or him segueing out and me taking over, it seemed like a very natural fit. So I don't think everybody's lucky enough to have that scenario. I was, but it doesn't mean it didn't come with the fears of potential, I don't want to say collapse, but goodness gracious, if something happened, I've got a wife and a son that needed to be supported, and I've got responsibilities, and much like everybody else that takes that leap of faith, you need to do just that. You need to take that leap of faith.
Why take it? You had, Dave, you had everything. You were successful in what you did. You had a loving family. You have plenty of friends. Why? You didn't need to take the leap of faith.
Well, it gave me the ability to control my future. And that's really, I would say that's the crux of much of it. So let's look at it this way. If change was inevitable within our company, I wouldn't know if Joe Bag of Donuts was going to come on board and take over the company. How did I know that was going to be a perfect segue for that other person and myself? Same thing applies to the other people that were in the company as well. And in that I had the longest tenure with our company, I felt somewhat responsible for wanting to take the reins and being able to kind of stay the course with the company while also trying to build the company. So it gave me the ability to control my future rather than let someone else control my future.
Well, let's face it, change is inevitable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Dave, looking back, you've just completed your first year. Looking back, what are some takeaways for you as far as lessons learned in year one that you will take with you moving forward?
Mm-hmm. I would say I need to pay even better attention to pieces of the business. So I need to continue to pay better attention to all components of the financials, kind of a given. I would say I would say employee drama comes into play, and I would say that being able to filter through and stay the course for the company without being too bogged down with employee drama is a pretty significant part. I have enjoyed expanding some of the relationships, both customer and resource-based relationships that I've got. I attended a conference out in Arizona in November that provided me the opportunity to meet some people that was just fantastic, and we have already started to move forward with relationships with them. So we're fortunate in that regard. That type of interaction in front and behind the scenes, I feel is something that I would want to continue to expand upon in the future, and that's some of what I've learned in the past.
So, Dave, I got to ask you, in the beginning, when you first took over the company earlier last year, and then as the year went on, was there ever that moment during the year how we're like, hey, I'm doing this? I'm doing this. Where, maybe you had some doubts early on and then you realize, no, I got this. I'm doing this.
I will tip my cap to my office manager, Lenora, who is just great. And there have been a couple times where I've said, oh my gosh, I don't know, I just in conversation, casual conversation, I could have said, I'm not sure what to do with this, or I'm not sure how did that get handled previously. And she just said once, you got this. You got this. So your expression, and she put it in my ear. And I don't know what it was. I don't know why, but boy, that stuck. And yeah, I feel like there's a couple points, certain parts of the business more than others, obviously. But I feel like I can comfortably say, yeah, I've got this, knowing full well that I've got a lot to still learn and go and grow with.
Well, and Dave, one final point on this. I mean, obviously, you being confident in yourself, you having the self-esteem to lead, just like for your customers, for your employees and the people that work for you, they'll see through it, right? If you don't show that confidence and, you show chinks in the armor, they're going to see through that.
Certainly. I mean, isn't that with everything, though?
Yes.
Really, truly. I would say any coach of a team, any captain of a team, or any performer, really in any industry, I think that's a case. That's a little human nature. And honestly, I would say one thing I don't think I've brought up yet, but kind of goes back a little bit to the upbringing that I've had is I know there's chinks in the armor. I'll be the first one to say I don't know many people that walk on water, and I'm sure not one of them. So I will be prepared to accept and then address my missteps or my weaknesses.
Outstanding. So, Dave, I want to transition a little bit. One of the challenges I would imagine you have running a national company is that being a father and being a husband, and there's so many responsibilities. And I want to ask you a little bit about how you're able to balance those responsibilities. I know you're on the road weekly. So how do you, knowing that was going to be a part of your job, what kind of struggle is that in balancing your responsibilities that way?
I had a little bit of a rhythm going with some of my travel responsibilities, and I explained family-wise that was kind of an understood that they knew that a couple days a week I'd be on the road and doing my thing, and then I'm lucky enough that there's some other times where I can work from home, and yet others where I'll be in a base office. So when I took over the company, I should say before I took over the company, I really had to sit down and I explained that the potential was there of being away from home a little bit more. And it really needed to be understood because it just was going to call for that. So we did have that conversation. It was accepted and understood, all obviously driven by the hope for the greater good, both income, activity, fulfillment, in every way. So as far as my wife goes, and I'm just tremendously blessed with a remarkable wife and a great support system in that regard. So as far as that goes, we had a conversation and we knew that was going to be the case. I would say the same conversation took place with my son, who just turned 12.
Please give your son a shout out.
Oh, Hello, Bobby. He'll be so pleased that I said his name on the air. So, hello, Bobby. Thank you for that. I had the same conversation with him. However, at that time, when he was either 10 or 11 years old, I don't really think it completely is understood. And I'm sure that I know he said, "Oh no, I understand, Daddy. That's fine. Well, I get it." However, in the moment, there's times where that is a struggle, both for him and for me. That's how part of the travel and the challenge of being away has been handled. We tried to address it beforehand, and it's a constant adjustment.
Okay, we're going to continue with Dave Cousineau, CEO of Forms and Supplies Unlimited, talking more about fatherhood when we come back from the break. This has been iCommunicate.